as we walk through the forest, I admire your passion for the forest more than a lot of people. And I want you to just tell me not only what you know about the forest, but what do you like about the forest?
Well, I really like the forest because I know that this is where my soul lays. I'm just kidding, but no, we're actually in the time of year where it's not as much forest stuff as I primarily like, which is the mushies. The mushrooms and the amphibians, those are my favorites, and those are like spring and summertime with lots of rain, but all forests are nice because they're quiet. It just like deadens the sound, kind of swallows the wind, and you get to just be with yourself at peace, and I really have been craving that lately and just in general in my life, so I love it out here.
So spring and summer, you're saying maybe during the season you're looking for mushrooms and amphibians?
Yes.
Do you hunt for them actively on tour?
Actively, yeah, constantly.
What does that look like?
Well, mushrooms are easy. Just after it rains, wander around, look in the leaves, know what you're looking for, know what types of trees they're near. But for amphibians and reptiles, you're out there flipping rocks, flipping logs. And if you ever watch me play disc golf, I spend a lot of my time off the fairway, not looking for my disc, but flipping logs, and I'm always looking for something. We have a lot of backups on the pro tour, so I'm always out there trying to spend my time wisely, trying to find new friends of the slithery variety.
Well, when you see one, do you pick it up? Do you admire it?
Oh, yeah.
You know some people lick toads.
Oh, yeah. How much Family Guy have you watched in your life? Tell me. Yeah, no, I do pick them up sometimes, but I have kind of moved away from that just because we always are wearing, sunscreen and bug spray and all kinds of stuff like that. So I don't want to touch them all the time. I just like to get a good pick, maybe throw an acorn cap on their head like a little hat, take a pic, and just walk away.
During a tournament round.
Yeah.
What a way to live your life. Yeah. Do you eat the mushrooms that you forage for?
Yeah, I just started getting into edible mushrooms in the last few years. My friend Robbie introduced me and kind of taught me the things I need to know about basic ones, but I do not mess around. And it's not like I'm gonna go buy a mushroom field guide and just eat a new one willy-nilly whenever I feel. I know the ones that I've been taught. They're very easily identified. They are very not easily confused with any other ones, and I only eat those. So we're talking like maybe 6 different varieties that I'm like super comfortable with.
They say you can always eat a mushroom at least one time. Every mushroom is edible once.
Legitimately. And like the amount of mushrooms that I've tried with people that are more knowledgeable than I am, that are just not worth trying because they're just not that great. So it's just, if you know what you like and you find the good ones and you just stick to those, and honestly, it becomes kind of an art form because you have to learn the seasons, you have to learn what specific conditions and temperatures, which trees they like, and then at that point, it's more of like a treasure hunt for something that you get to eat than trying a bunch of new stuff. That's how I look at edible mushrooms.
You want to go play Frisbee? You go play catch?
Why not? We're in this beautiful place. I'm down.
Let's do it. Let's go play catch. Madison, I have 2 discs for you today. You know what the second one is. Mm-hmm. The first one, I told you I wanted to bring you the worst disc in my collection. Mm-hmm. The one that flies the worst. And I bring this to you because I know you have one of the darker senses of humor of anyone that I know, and maybe a little nihilistic, and I kind of like that. This disc was made by Imperial Toy Company.
Am I allowed to look at it?
Yes, it's called the Spin Move Windjammer, and Imperial Toy Company got famous for making Godzilla action figures. And they went out of business. And I actually have no idea how this disc came into my collection.
How do you go out of business when you have no slip grip?
It says no slip grip on the side.
It sure does.
That's what I was saying. So paint the picture for the viewers. What are you holding right now?
I'm holding almost a bowl. It's not as much a disc as it is a bowl. And it's definitely gonna have some gray glide, but a little bit shiny on the edge, is slippery even, but then the no slip grip kicks in. It almost looks like it could potentially be an overmold. It's not, but they just have 2 different types of plastic somehow. The grippy stuff, the slippy stuff, and then a really large portion of shiny gold. That I think is gonna make for an excellent thumb track.
This actually is my dream putter. If I could hyzer flip a 35 footer, I think I would.
Can you?
Ooh.
Oh, you can touchy.
Mm.
I'm more of a forehand
I think I got a little flick with it.
touch guy.
Oh!
Oh, that's buttery, honestly.
Okay, so you kind of got the stability. First thoughts of the spin move windjammer.
It's for someone with bigger hands somehow. I'm making this work, but I'm barely touching it.
This is Shrek's like beach frisbee.
Legit. It's like, I literally am not gripping it at all. I'm just letting it fall out.
Well, you don't need to because it has no slip grip.
No, I don't need grip by any means.
Now also, Madison, I'm gonna throw this to you. I want you to look at the stamp and the motion that the person is making to spin move wind jam. And I want you to make that catch the next time I throw it to you.
Is this during throw or is this during catch?
I don't know, I'll try to do it.
Honestly, I don't know if I have the knees for this anymore. Oh, roller.
I think
it's during catch. It's gotta be during catch.
And also notice that he's going like this when he's catching it too.
Did I do it?
That was good.
Oh yeah. You caught that below your knees in the midair.
Yeah, you have, whoa!
There we go, there we go.
Oh, nope. Talk to me about, because I actually haven't asked you this question. I feel like you kind of slammed on old MySpace back in the day.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Talk to me.
Well, it came out when I was in middle school, so prime time for you to want to have a social media presence. You really want to show people what you're about, but also prime time for me to decide that I'm going to learn coding. And I taught myself. So my MySpace had all kind of little jingly things and early GIFs and weird sound effects and flashing lights. You know what I'm talking about. Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Of course I know what you're talking about. How did you teach yourself to code? Did you go on Ask Jeeves?
Yeah, legitimately.
Really?
Yep. And
What did you type?
learning HTML. Isn't that what we did back then? Was it HTML? It's been a long time.
As like a 12-year-old?
Yeah. And learned how to, everyone had their own little janky website back then. So I looked at someone else's nice little website and copied their code and added my own colors. I liked a lot of red and turquoise together. That was my thing.
What was your MySpace song?
Oh, it switched up every day. Every day.
Every day?
Yeah, I kept it up to date. I kept it really up to date and really personalized. Back then, I'm trying to think of what music I was into. My parents had me on some Led Zeppelin, some Bob Marley. They were making me a cool middle schooler.
So your parents showed you a lot of old music?
Oh yeah, I grew up with a lot of the classics, but then my dad had pretty bizarre music taste. And they kind of placed me, I got in trouble in elementary school because I would come in second grade and be talking about MTV music videos. And my teachers would be like, oh, you're probably not supposed to be watching that. Like your parents probably don't know. But my dad would just plop me in front of MTV starting in like kindergarten. And I would just watch music videos all day, every day to go to sleep. So I knew about all music, all those bizarre 90s music videos that we love so much now and that we really miss dearly. God, I want to make this forehand work so bad.
You gotta just like pop, you're following through way too much.
Okay.
You're giving it way too much respect.
I'm giving it too much respect. But yeah, so.
Yes.
So my dad was really into like In Vogue. He liked a lot of old funk music and disco music. So pretty eclectic music taste growing up. And that definitely went onto my MySpace and everyone was always like, what is this? Who's George Clinton?
So then I have to ask you, what classification of middle schooler were you? Were you like one of the cool kids, one of the theater kids?
I was definitely a nerd. I was like one of the smart kids, but I also played a lot of sports. So I was one of those floaters. You know, when you got a lot of friends, but like no one's like your really close friend. But then my best friend was like the funny guy in class, the class clown. We had the same last name. We used to joke that we were twins, but he was like 6 feet tall in middle school and I was like 4'2".
What's your favorite like 80s to 90s classic yet harmless bullying move? Wedgie, Wet Willie,
Ooh, that's a good question.
We're not talking about actually mean things.
No, no, no. It was definitely, God, this is gonna make me sound so weird. I was a weird kid. Well, we were all weird kids, but I used to headbutt people. But like, I was small. I was like tiny, like 4'2". So it was like, I was at arm height and I would just come and just bah people.
That's so mean. That's actual bullying.
No, it didn't hurt anybody, but it would get people, it gets people hyped up though, that's for sure.
I didn't hurt nobody. I'm just headbutting some people.
Headbutting, but like in the arm. Yeah, like punching, light punching, like toy boxing.
Oh gosh.
I still do that.
You're still kind of a fighter.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, I got something special for you. I got a gift that I'd like to give you that actually symbolizes where you've been and where you've come from in disc golf. So let's go look at the disc.
2 discs. I get 2 discs?
You get 2 discs.
I get 2 discs?
Well, you don't get to keep this one. This one stays in the vault forever. All right, so now we have a much better flying disc. And I showed you this earlier. This is a range with your clocker stamp.
Madison clocker.
Explain.
It was on the Neutron Rhythm for my Team Series disc, my first Team Series disc with MVP. I was very excited because I love the Neutron Rhythm. But I came up with this stamp with rhythm in mind, obviously. And I've always wanted to do a stamp with a crab on it. I did a lot of tide pooling the last few years, so it felt like the right time. Came up with this sketch, worked with Justin Lago, who digitized it for me, and designed this little drum logo with my name. And boom, here it is. Justin added the fish in the background and the seaweed, and I think it turned out great.
Let's throw it.
Yeah. And so this disc, this is the range. It's a new disc. I just got to add it to my bag like 2 tournaments ago, and now I throw it on every approach. It feels like a cheater disc. It's kind of like a Berg Light, and I'm very excited to throw it and have this stamp on this disc because it's my new favorite approach disc. So yeah, I've actually been meaning to throw this disc in a field for a while now because I legitimately just put it in my bag 2 weeks ago, and I have only thrown it during tournament rounds. I haven't even practiced with it. So that's how much this disc flies good out of the bag.
Do you resonate with a crab any more than just going tide pooling?
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
I grew up crabbing, and I don't know, there's just, it's like one of my favorite things to draw my whole life. Something about the intricacy of all the body segments, and then like the soft inside, the hard outside shell. It's like snails, slugs, and crabs are all some of my favorite little creatures to doodle. And it's always been just something that I see it and I'm like, oh, look how cute it is. Also, like how they're like kind of crusty and have barnacles on them, and I just love these things. This one's a little beefier than the first run ones that I got in my bag.
And the last disc that we threw.
And the last disc that we threw. This past year I went tide pooling in Oregon and found a crab in a tide pool that was currently actively molting for. And so we got to literally watch the crab take his jacket off and leave it, and then have his new little soft body.
How long does that take?
Oh, like 30 minutes.
That's efficient.
It was awesome. And it was on a rock in the intertidal zone, but like 30 feet above the water's edge.
Do you ever feel figuratively that you have barnacles stuck to you?
Yeah, I do, absolutely. Also, I had like a lot of really like harebrained tattoo ideas growing up. I don't have any tattoos, I never followed through, but one of them I wanted to get was like basically look like I stuck my leg in the water and let things grow on it for years and just get that tattoo. And so it would just be like seaweed and crabs and barnacles, but I never followed through with any of them because tattoos are expensive and I'm an FPO disc golfer. So it's not something I've had, I haven't had a lot of money for many years, and I'm tattoo free, which I don't regret.
Well, talk to me about your 2 passions. Clearly, you're passionate about science and biology and nature, but clearly you've been out here for disc golf for a long time.
Yeah.
Talk about those split passions, having to balance them.
I think if disc golf wasn't outside, like getting to spend all my time outside, it wouldn't have stuck as much. Like the new thing with golf courses, I'm like not loving at all. Really not enjoying my time on the disc golf course when they're on golf courses. But I've always loved Frisbees. I actually did my physics project in high school on the flight of a disc. And so I've always just been fascinated with it. I was playing Ultimate growing up since middle school, always trying to find kids from other schools that would play and meet up on the weekends. It just has always been something I loved even before I found disc golf. And then you find disc golf and it's something you can do by yourself, and you don't necessarily have to go do meetups and have, like, you know how Ultimate can get a little bit aggressive. And so I played on a men's team, and it was nice to find something that wasn't men's Ultimate, you know, where I could go throw a disc myself, because I've always, ooh, it slipped. But I've always loved watching the disc fly. So then you put it outside in nature in beautiful places, and it's like, come on, it can't be better than that.
You just can't stay away.
Yep.
Do you ever fantasize about going the other direction and being a scientist?
Oh yeah, definitely. I talk about quitting every single year and going back to science because I miss it very much, and I really love doing research, and I also like feeling like I'm making a difference with things that I love, the natural world. So yeah, I've talked about it a lot. I've entertained it a good bit, and it's just about kind of what the transition looks like. I did a job with the Pro Tour where I got to do some environmental stuff for a while, and that was really cool, but where the Pro Tour is just not quite there yet. We're almost there, where we'll be able to focus on that and not just building this tour and trying to make it, you know, sustainable.
What things are you interested in regards to like environmental sustainability in disc golf?
That's like, I got a job with the National Wildlife Federation before I started playing disc golf, working with a nonprofit and doing a lot of like policy stuff right after the oil spill. So kind of trying to help organizations decide where the oil spill money was going to go to help most effectively help the natural resources. And I ended up really liking it. You go to a bunch of meetings, you meet a lot of other people that are trying to make a difference and actually care, and it's just cool. It's not a lot of pay. We're never gonna, you know, make it big, but you do feel like you're helping, and you get to be around people that are of like mind, and it's really energizing. Like it was one of the best jobs I ever had, and it was an unpaid internship, so that says a lot. But yeah, so I've thought about that, going back towards like policy stuff, and I think that does have carryover into disc golf, but I'm just still not quite sure what that looks like, you know? It's so new, especially being on golf courses. It's so counterintuitive because it's not quite sustainable at all, but it is nice to like reuse something that's being used for something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm ready to maybe go back to school. I always wanted to be a professor, and I don't know, the further I go away, the more I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a professor ever, but I do want to do research.
Well, Madison, you do commentary now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're on camera a lot. You're on camera a lot. Mm-hmm. I can't tell if you're an extrovert or an introverted person.
I don't know either. If you figure it out, let me know.
With commentary, how does that fare?
It's honestly been pretty easy the last few years because I'm doing it with Erica, and she's my best friend, and so it's pretty easy to show up and have a good time when you're with someone that you like so much, talking about something that you both like. But the extrovert introvert thing, I used to feel energized, I guess, after hanging out with a lot of people, and now I find myself feeling a little bit more fatigued and maybe kind of, I don't know, ready for some more quiet time. But all the camera stuff it doesn't bother me too much. It's fine. It's just not somewhere I ever saw myself being all the time.
I understand that.
If that makes sense. But like that's kind of life, I think, just realizing that there's not really a plan that you're going to stick to, and just kind of letting it go where it may. And here I am in front of a camera throwing a frisbee.
Not too bad, huh?
Not too bad. With my buddy.
Not a bad life. If you won the lottery, where would you be in life?
Oh, that's easy. I would have like 40 boats and 40 motorcycles.
That's a lot of bikes and motorcycles.
I'd have just like only boats. I would just live on different boats every year, going to different water places.
What would you name your boats?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question right there. It just depends on the boat. But I would want a sailboat for sure. I would want a couple motorboats. I would want like a really fancy old like shrimp boat. You know what I mean? Like fancy, not like yacht, like fancy as in like sick, like nautical, marine. Ooh, I just whipped that one. Sorry about your hand.
That was great.
Okay, but the, yeah, it would definitely be a lot of boats. It would be waterfront property for my family. It would be a personal chef. That would be literally the first thing I bought, probably before the boats and the house. Because I don't love cooking and I love eating, so.
This brings me to my last question. You're so into nature, you're so into science and animals. I have a question for you. If we woke up one morning and every living insect, animal, human had the same intelligence, and maybe like modern human intelligence, would we all coexist, or would one species reign supreme?
I did think about this question. We have talked about this once before and we saved it. And the more that I think about it, the more confused I get, because I feel like as humans, we always are kind of like anthropomorphizing animals, you know, giving them those human qualities to make us feel like we understand them better and understand their nature, when in reality we have, you know, a little bit of something extra that is going to always be different from most animals. But I think it could get messy really fast. But the more I think about it, the more I think it would be some sort of insect that would reign supreme. And I think it would be like a militant insect. And I firmly believe, and this could be because I read an entire book about ants, but I think ants would take the cake. I think ants would be the guys that ruled everything.
Why is that?
Ants or wasps, maybe. Wasps could definitely do it. They're matter of fact. There's no feelings in there, and I think if you add feelings, they would just have the feeling of just utmost responsibility. So they'd be even more dangerous because they're loyal, they're responsible, they're matter of fact, and just add those feelings on top of it. Oh, dangerous. We'd have no chance. What do you pick? Because
we've done a good job as humans so far.
Yeah, fine. It's fine.
We're in Charlotte. I drive to downtown Charlotte. The skyline's beautiful, lit up, and sometimes I get tripped up by the fact that we just did that. We just decided to just make this ridiculous artificial thing.
Yeah.
Great apes are just better versions of us. They're just way stronger.
They even use tools.
Yeah, and personally, if it came down to all out, like, oh no, the ants are trying to take over, like, you know, we can go into like Armageddon mode. We can build exoskeletons.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, dude, I love where you're going with this.
And the apes can just build better, heavier exoskeletons and carry them around. Frankly, the ants have nothing. We just walk up, boom, kick. Do they have fingers? Tell me about the ants. Like,
no, they don't have fingers. But also, in my scenario in my head, when you asked me this question and you said that they have human-like qualities, I don't know why I instantly made them human-sized. So like,
that's terrifying.
Of course they have like the human qualities of empathy and emotions, but they also are human-sized. So I'm like imagining a race of ants that are giant.
Well, that's way different.
And I didn't tell anybody that. I just assumed you all could read my mind. Obviously.
I can't think that something without thumbs would make it. And then you think under the water, what would happen? Like,
well,
who would reign supreme underwater?
But no, ants don't have any problems with water because they get all together and form a raft. If you haven't looked up a video that you should, it's so cool.
I have seen videos where the entire colony holds hands and floats together.
Yeah, with no thumbs.
Is wild.
With no thumbs.
But I have one last question then. Underwater, because we don't need to colonize the water. We haven't done that. We're not doing that. Who underwater would reign supreme?
Jellyfish.
Why?
I think one day this world will just be just only jellyfish. I think it's gonna be the final. They will be the final form.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say.
No, I don't. Enough said. I'm gonna have a say less moment. No. Why? Because they are geniuses evolutionarily. They have come up with ways around every single problem they could ever run into, and we're never going to run out of oceans. We're not. And I think that maybe the oceans eventually getting cold could be the biggest problem, but if it's that cold, then the jellyfish are still going to be the last ones here because everyone else is going to be cold. And so I think jellyfish they're it. They've figured out everything. They don't need anything. They just need water.
So the ants and the jellyfish just coexist, and that's what planet Earth looks like?
Yeah, they just like dap up on the beach occasionally and then go their separate ways. They don't even battle.
They don't even battle will be the final phrase. No. Unbelievable.
That's the dumbest conversation I've had in a while. Oh, good question.
Exoskeletons,
Good
dude.
question. Good question.
Yeah.
I like the thought of an ape building an exoskeleton. That's something I haven't. Like a chimpanzee with like
We could
armor.
go like Transformers mode if we needed to do that.
Wait, is that Planet of the Apes? Is that something they've already thought of?